Hi everybody, how are you? It's Jay Victoria, the Energy Queen, and I had a really cool question from Lilu. Thanks again for your question. What it is about is how do you stand up for yourself and set boundaries and all that stuff while staying in your feminine energy, while, um, basically not going into a super masculine energy, which, I mean, women all have masculine energy, but I have a really simple answer actually for you. It all comes down to one of the ingredients of feminine energy. We talk about, well, staying in feminine energy or having a lot of feminine energy. What are we talking about? There are four ingredients to feminine energy. Say them with me if you've heard them before from me: presence, pleasure, self value, self value, and your purpose. Those are what we're talking about when we talk about feminine energy. And I'm giving you an activation through my eyes. I can feel it, just so you know. And so, when it comes to something like standing up for yourself or setting boundaries, right? If you do that from a place of self value, which is one of the ingredients of feminine energy, it's a very different energy, and you stay in your feminine energy that way. Versus what going into your masculine would be in this case is trying to deal with the physical world. So all these things are feminine because they're all inside, they're all about your spirit. Presence is something that your spirit is, right? Joy, fun, those are qualities of your spirit. You don't always find that in the physical world. Self value and your purpose, that's definitely in your spirit. So it's like things that you can see with your eyes in the physical world, that's all the masculine, and it's not bad. And that's 50% of reality, and the other 50% is the feminine. So if you're a woman and you're trying to stay in your feminine while dealing with things in your life, knowing that, I think why you asked this, Lilu, is because people respond well to feminine energy. They generally want to help feminine energy, they respect it. And it just kind of helps things, I think, not feel as stressful for you, and you stay in your peace, right? So it's really a matter of how you're approaching it. Are you approaching the problem from a place of self value, which is why you would want to correct something in your life anyway, versus trying to control it? And if you're trying to control, it's not that having control in the physical world is a bad thing, even, but you're just looking at it from the masculine energy standpoint, which is like, I'm trying to control or make something happen. And I think why, again, you ask this is because that doesn't always work. And women often get criticized and called crazy, and it like makes the problem worse when you're trying to control everything and everyone around you that you can't necessarily control. So all you have to do is do things from a place of self-value and make that your intention. I'm standing up for myself because I value myself. I'm going to speak up because I value myself. I'm going to set a boundary because I value myself. And that's very, very different than, I'm going to tell you what to do, and I'm going to tell you what to do, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. And you feel the difference in the energy, even me saying it. So let's try that. I want you to feel the energy difference. I'm going to stand up for myself because I have self-value. I'm going to tell you what I'm okay with, not what you should do, but what I'm okay with because I have self-value. I'm going to accept this or not accept this because I have self-value. All right, you feel that energy? And now you can't do that, you can't do this, I don't like that, I don't like you, you can't do that, and I don't want this, and everything's wrong. Okay? Wow, that's very different energies. And so people are going to respond very differently to those two energies. One is like almost attacking, the other one is like, you can feel it's very strong, but it's in me, and it's like in you, and it's in your core. And people respond better to that because it doesn't make them wrong. It's like they have nothing to fight with. Who's going to challenge you on the fact that you're allowed to stand up for yourself and love yourself? No soul is going to, like, no one's going to try to go against you on that. So don't make yourself an enemy of people or of circumstances. Instead, make yourself someone who is just caring about yourself, and then they'll have nothing to fight with. I have a video on how to set boundaries for anybody who's interested. It's 5 minutes. I'll link that in the description. And I think that's pretty much the whole thing. Other than that, I want to tell you just a personal anecdote to illustrate this, why I know this. Because we all go through things in life, and this is something I learned recently at a job that I'm doing right now on the weekends. And there were some pretty heinous emotional crimes being committed, in my opinion. And they were being tolerated, and I was like, I like, whoa, I'm not, no. And the reason why you have to be diligent with these things in your life is because if anything in your environment is affecting these things, your feminine energy, and I want to say especially your self-value, then it is a big deal, because self-value specifically is also one of the energies of wealth. If you have self-value, you have wealth. If you don't, you don't. So if people are threatening your self-value, they are literally threatening your bank account. I'm not even kidding. So I am very aware and diligent about that. If you're going to put me down, if you're going to like do things that invade my boundaries and actually communicate beliefs to me, which are energies that can get inside of you, that I am not valuable, that's dangerous for my well-being and my survival basically in this planet. So I always, I'll tell you how I dealt with it. I did what I'm telling you. I came at it through self-value, and it made me emotional. There were 2 different times with 2 different men. You know, I kind of went through a process. First, it was like I withdrew, and then I like ignored, and then it was like we just kind of do things to protect ourselves. But eventually I realized like that's not really gonna solve the problem. And so I sat down with one of them and I just told him, this is not okay with me. But I did it from that place of self-value. I just said, this is not okay with me. I don't like how this is, you're speaking to me, and I don't deserve it. And he actually agreed with me. He was like, yeah, you're right. Like, you don't deserve it. Like, you're actually one of the people that really doesn't. And I got really emotional, and I started crying, and I let myself cry because, again, like communicating your boundaries from a place of self-value is such a different energy. Men especially respond very differently than if you're blaming them. I didn't blame him, but I said, like, I'm not okay with this. And here's why. And it really is affecting me and bothering me. I'm even tearing up a little bit right now talking about it. Like, it was just really emotional. And I will say you can't always predict the way that a man or anybody will respond to that kind of vulnerability, but it wasn't like an open, making myself vulnerable in a dangerous way kind of thing, even emotionally. It was like, self-value really, like, feminine energy in general is very protective of you. So I felt very protected, like doing things from a place of self-value really does protect you. I think you're going to have a lot of success with it, and try it today. Like, literally just come back to like, why is this bothering me? And how is that about my self-value? Because I believe I deserve better. And I got really emotional, and I cried, and I broke down. I was just like, and he was like, listen, let's just start fresh from today. Everything's new, And he hugged me, and I was still a little bit like, I don't know if this is gonna like last, but it has. It's like, I feel like, because I did it that way, it had the impact that I wanted it to have. And then it happened again with someone else. Oh, there's the door. Speaking of things receiving, maybe I'm getting a package. But I did that with someone else who just spoke to me in a tone, and I was just like, I was so upset with that, because I was like, I do not let anybody speak to me with that tone, and I don't care if you're in charge of me. I just will not like, I don't let anybody speak to me like that, because it's like that's putting a threat on my self-value, which literally impacts my money. And so I got emotional again, and I cried again, and I was just like, and I don't cry to manipulate people. It's really from a place of caring about myself. It's just like, I just don't allow that, you know, and I just don't deserve it. And I even put my hand on his arm and I just said, I don't let people talk to me like that. It doesn't matter who they are. Like, I just don't. And it makes me emotional, I think, because it's just the truth. I think women just, we know what we deserve, and we need to really stand up for that. Because people around us won't necessarily get it right away. And so I hope that this helps you. My energy is probably an activation. The crying is probably an activation. Maybe you're crying too. Let me know in the comments. But like, but yeah, it's very real. Like, you if you do things from a place of self-value, it does reach people. And I could tell after that he was a little bit like he actually said, I apologize profusely. And he was someone who wasn't typically someone who would speak that way. And I told people he said that, and they were like, really? And ever since, he was kind of like a little bit like, not scared of me, but like, oh my God, like, I hope she's like, I don't know, I don't want to upset her. But I feel like the message got across. And so these problems that were very big problems for me, like, aren't there anymore, praise Jesus, because I handled them through the lens of self-value. So I hope that helps you deal with things in your life. It can be hard not to get, I mean, sometimes you get triggered by people, and you have to be aware of that. Like, the trigger is in you. And I generally think that blaming people is not the vibe, though, like, correcting or saying what's okay with you is definitely something that matters. So I hope that this helped. If it did, let me know in the comments. Share with a woman that you love if you think that it'll help her. And I'll link the video to how to set boundaries and how to learn how to do that in 5 minutes in the comments. Somebody else, or no, it was Lilu again. Thank you, Lilu. I would love to know where you're from, by the way. Since we're still a small community here at Energy Queen on YouTube, but I know we're growing by the day. And I appreciate everybody who is watching, by the way. And but she said, I want to, like, give you money for your efforts, and so if you would like to leave a tip, I'll put my PayPal link if you guys want to send me something. It's definitely welcome and appreciated. And I'll also put my free consult link if you would like to talk to me personally about your energy and the things that you're going through and you'd like to let go of. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. Sending you so much love and success with these tips. Bye.